Hello and welcome to Paris Set Me Free mini photo tutorials. This shot was taken on a glorious afternoon, sunny Montmartre afternoon in March on a tour of mine. And wow, if you get me started on rusting, paint peeling, characterful letterboxes, then I won't know where to stop. This is just a dream of a shot. Look at the original. It's obviously a lot duller. But well, that's what it's all about, and I'll show you some of the other ones in the series. Okay, there it is in its entirety, and I obviously had the choice of taking a shot like this and then zooming in, or leaving a lot of the wall here. I think in the end I did go with this bigger shot, this close-up. There's another version slightly off to the left, and there's another version. Here was a colleague next to it. There we are. Just as characterful, I think, and snugly up, actually on the other side of the same wall. If I go back here, you'll see that was on one side and that was on the other. Those are the final two pictures. Two unbelievably characterful letterboxes lining a street in Montmartre. Now what I'm going to do is show you that street if I can. So I'm going to just take us over to another part of my screen here. Now here you can see the Montmartre street. This is one of the two last windmills that I know of in Montmartre. This is actually some sort of restaurant now. This is the Le Cancan, the Can-Can, and I'm just going to pan around here. There you can see the street. This is a lovely street leading up to, as we'll see, leading up to the big touristy street. There's the little art galleries you see. There's the day this photograph was taken, there was some sort of building work going on. There's a Montmartre bus. Now if you go up that way you get to the tourist street. Going this way you'd be looking over, and looking left you'd be looking over a fantastic view of Paris. Now coming down this wall there you can see our friends there, our two letterboxes. There it is. So see, I can just show you that's one of them. Can I zoom in on this? There it is. Not particularly spectacular when you see it like that. If I compare it to what I turned it into. Oh, hang on. There we are. That became that. And off screen I'm just going to try and show you the other one as well. So the other one started off like this. There it is, under the Rue Le Pic sign. If I zoom in on that, lost it. Maybe this wasn't such a good idea. There it is. Well, I'm trying to zoom in. There you go. Not the best shot, but you can see that one and that one, which is a bit, well, the picture isn't that fantastic, but you can see the rust here, and there's actually a second one here which I chopped off. This creeping rust here is absolutely great for the photograph, and that turned into this lovely shot full of texture there. So well, what can you say about letterboxes? Well, on the site I've actually put them together, if you notice, so that this, you click on one that's just below it and they merge into each other, and you see there's a little thing below it. And it's always a good idea, not always, it's a very good idea and a very nice idea, I think, to get two things which are very similar. And also if they're right next to each other it's nice because they have a real logical link. These two are neighbours on either side of that doorpost that I showed you. Completely different in character. Look at how different. You could hardly get two different letterboxes, both oozing character, oozing texture, and actually oozing bits of lovely orangey brown rust as well, and iron oxide or whatever. And so there's two or three ways in which these are nice together. One is that they literally are next to each other in real life, Another thing is they're the same. They're obviously two letterboxes, and yet the great thing is they're so different. Now, if you look at the positioning, I would probably show these together. If I put these in an exhibition, I'll probably either put them next to each other or actually on the same square presentation board which I use, black, which echoes the way that you can see them here. And with that in mind, look at where this is. If you look at the position of that, it's slightly up to towards the top left rather than in the middle. And then if you look at this one, it's slightly off to the bottom right. That isn't a coincidence, because if you look at the originals, I think that's the original of that one, much more central. So I cropped this side here, I think, to put that a little bit more up to this side, and I chose this one, and it's towards the bottom. I mean, it's not absolute dead center, his name's dead center, but I actually chopped a bit of this off and maybe a little bit here to bring it more down to bottom right, so that finally they would complement each other if they're displayed together. There would be a nice diagonal. If I put this one here, there'd be a nice diagonal between that and then the other one going to bottom right. Or if I put this one in the top, then you can imagine, I don't know, it all depends, it's up to you to display them one above the other, next to each other, or with some sort of diagonal arrangement, which could be very, very effective. So it's great, really. There's so many common things, and yet they're so different. They've both got the name. This one's got one name. This one's got two, three. This has got this. They've both got this gaping, ominous hole, which is almost pure black. This one there, and this one here. They've got varying degrees of texture and rust. This one's got loads of texture on the wall, and the lighting was absolutely superb on this afternoon. It was slanted lighting. In this time in March, we met up early in the morning, so the sun wasn't high at all. It was a gorgeous warm colour, and it was just slicing across the edge of these buildings, giving them this excellent texture. And you'll see another couple of pictures taken on this shoot as well, where you've got the same wonderful side lighting. So this one's got far more texture, and very little of it is the metal part, if you look at that, compared with this one, where in fact there's no wall at all. It's all the metal. This one's got peeling paint, mind you. If you see that, amazing rust, and this is all peeling. You see that shadow there? That's because there's a piece of paint. Oh, maybe I'm wrong there. I was going to say that a piece of paint sticking up, casting a shadow. No, I've got a feeling that there's actually three colours there. There's the creamy, pale cream of the original paintwork. There's the grey where the paint has been ripped off. Here, look, there's been some other signs which have been taken off and taken the paint with him. That's the raw metal underneath. And then there's this sort of mid-range of browns, darker brown for real rust. And here is where the rust has dripped down, oozed down with a more orangey and then pale yellow, all merging in with these lovely bits of scraped off cracks and everything. Honestly, I told you, if I start talking about texture, I really don't know when to stop. So they've both got great texture in their own right, but I would say that these two pictures are made to be displayed together. Look, even the wall here is crumbling. If it's not the metal around the letterbox and the paint that's crumbling here, then it's the brickwork. Look, there's a massive great hole underneath, and this is all rugged, and it just begs to be touched, which is why I tried to show that texture as much as possible. So there we are, two marvelous letterboxes with everything to make a really intriguing and eye-catching diptych. Thanks very much for listening and watching. And oh yeah, I was going to say, look out for a new feature on the blog. It's called Guess Where in Paris, and I'll put up a picture and you have to guess where it is. Okay, see you next time. Bye bye.
Depuis que je suis à Paris, le jour et la nuit, je suis gris. J'ai compris la douceur de vivre. Je suis fou de joie, je suis ivre. Depuis que je suis à Paris.